Hello viewers, and welcome to the first set of Xbox One footage on the channel. Here we see a roof ready to go in Road America. There we go. Great feeling of speed, low down with these big detailed cars racing into turn one. I love this view. Nice big cars racing against. Little touch there. Whoa, bit of action. We're all on the brakes into turn one. Kind of all over the place. There's almost a passenger then, but we're okay. We've made it through turn one. Back to the cockpit cam. We can see those God rays coming through the screen. Looking fantastic. Okay, so Xbox One version, that's what we're looking at here. Detail wise, obviously it's going to run at the same 60 frames per second. I'm not certain what the resolution will be on the final build, so we'll wait and see on that one. Detail wise seems to be pretty good. You know, there does seem to be a little bit less in terms of grass and stuff like that, so but it's not really major stuff. I mean, generally speaking, it all seems to be there, and I think it'll be easier to tell on the final build. At this stage, the handling on the Xbox version is still needing some work here and there, and it's pretty tricky with a controller keeping some of these cars on course, so no doubt they're developing this. This build again is around February time, something like that, so early February, so it's not nearly what you're going to be playing, and apparently it's all taken big steps forward since then as well, so I do look forward to playing newer builds, especially on the Xbox version, the Xbox One version, which I'm sure many of you are looking forward to. Again, lots of types of cars that aren't necessarily going to be in something like Forza, and a very different type of handling as well, so not something to compare to any other racing games on the format directly. People often compare visuals and they say, oh well, this game ran at 60 frames per second, therefore all games can, but sometimes it depends on the processing in terms of the physics and the handling and everything else you've got going on, how many cars you've got on the track and everything else. But lighting is all there, detail looks nice and clear to me. Handling on this car was quite tricky with a controller, still needed a bit of work. The car was sort of oversteering, going into a bit of a slide, so it's a little bit too twitchy. Either way, everything else is pretty much as you'd expect from the other versions. A bit more Xbox One now. We actually showed this Xbox One footage on the channel over a month ago. Anybody watched my blog would have seen I actually included some Xbox One footage, secretly snuck it in there so that to see if anybody noticed, and nobody did, which is great. So it shows that on the face of it, if I put all the different versions together, many of you really won't be able to tell the difference. Why? Well, the PS4 and the Xbox versions are pretty similar. This is the footage we actually showed. And the PC version, because I run triple screens, I don't tend to run maximum detail. Mainly because obviously powering 3 screens on my own rig, I prefer frame rate over fidelity to an extent. Obviously there's a lot of fidelity there anyway, so it still looks absolutely fantastic. Great feeling of speed as well. I do like some of the texture on the track with the lighting. Racing our way around there, dancing round in the Formula Rookie, Formula Fords. And again, this version was running okay. There were still some bits and pieces that needed work, so we weren't able to show you any complete races on the Xbox One version at this stage. But certainly as soon as we can, as soon as the builds are ready to be shown, we'll show them on the channel. And again, I'll run some complete races, multicams, everything else. All the usual coverage you can expect. Goodness me, I'm going to be racing lots and lots of laps across all these different videos, showing you some of the different stuff available. I do like racing around Brands Hatch though, so I can absolutely adore in so many ways. But saying that, we do have one complete race, and that was this Road America race. We saw a bit of the start earlier, and we've been able to run the complete race on this one. That's because there were bits and pieces on different cars and circuits that still need to be fixed. We don't want to show you anything until it's sort of representative of what you're going to see in the final build. Going to that turn one. Interestingly, not using the TV camera viewpoint on that turn one, on that, well, I say turn one, it's the main part of turn one. But the cars look great. As the time of day goes on as well, you'll see it change. Let's race down this back straight. Again, quite tricky with the controller at the moment, racing on the Xbox version, but I'm sure they're still sort of working on that. Heavy braking there. Not got my braking right at all for that section. I wasn't able to get on the brakes when I saw the accident there. Tap, doesn't matter. Nice lighting through the trees though. Very nice. Now looking for a way past here. I'll be flicking to different views so you can see the different viewpoints throughout the video. Now again, it wasn't much time to all this was recorded at the same time, so it's very much a case of going from car to track to, you know, different car, different track, and racing around. So I'm generally using the tracks I know, but at the same time it's still quite tricky with the handling on some of these cars. Again, if I turned in any more there, the car would probably spin out, so better to take some gravel. Just try and work around. You'll see the car waving a bit. It's a little bit twitchy for me at the moment. But a great feeling of speed, that bumper cam level. It's really nice. Personally, I could do the bumper cam being a smidgen higher. And hence using the bonnet cam, simply because it gives me a nice view of the racetrack. Nice and bright. There is this sort of tinted glass on the cockpit cam, some of you may have noticed, and it makes it a little bit dull when we're recording videos, so it's nice to see a good view of the action here. Side by side, I'm aware the other car's there somewhere. And he's not letting go. I'm pretty determined here that I can brake a bit later. Just a little bit later and get the car in. Takes me a bit wide, but that's okay. We've got track position now. Car's moving around a lot though, certainly tricky. You can see where I'm actually coming out the handling, coming out the power, shall I say, and just trying to keep the car in the right direction. Thinking, goodness no, we'll have to record the race again or not be able to show all of it. But coming around, again, we braking a little bit too late this time. I try and brake a bit earlier, but obviously I'm much quicker this time, so not bad around that corner. And the light coming through the trees looks nice. A bit wide through that corner. So there's still lots of stuff being worked on in this build at the moment, so the finished build obviously visually is a lot more stable. This is I keep underlining the fact this is a work in progress and a few months out of date, so when we see the finished build, no doubt lots of little aspects will be refined and fixed and everything else. But I thought it was important that Xbox players were able to, oh goodness, see the columns losing it, were able to put their mind at ease that the Xbox version will run at 60 frames. It will look as you see here, or even better, and we will have proper 60 frames per second videos coming up again very soon on the channel, which will demonstrate all of that. So at the end of the day, it's certainly nice to see that it's coming along after not seeing much on the format. Final corner again into the final lap. You can see the time of day changing subtly as we've gone round lap after lap. Find those braking points again. You seem slightly better every time. Dark in the car at this stage. I didn't know how to turn my lights on this particular race, so I figured it is quite dark in the car for racing without your lights on. You can see the subtlety in terms of the time of day changing. You might see some flickering in the shadows. Some of that is down to where I've got the time of day sped up, the shadows, you can actually see them moving, and that's some of what you can see in terms of the slight flickering. I've got it running at 60 times, so every minute that's an hour of shadow movement. It's quite a bit. So that's some of what you can see in the replay here. Going slightly wide. Also, we have the Project Cars playlist, so do check that out. You can click the link at the bottom there, and at the end of this video there'll be other videos, Project Cars videos we've got on the channel. Do check those out as well. Lots of coverage still to come. As ever, do let me know what you'd like to see in the finished build. My preview coverage will probably focus more on the career mode and just generally racing the cars I like on different circuits. Probably more of a relaxed sort of coverage on this, in terms of I just want to race and enjoy it rather than grind through it simply for the coverage. I think it'd be nice just to enjoy some of these races and really refine them. I'm the only car without my lights on. And then I think we broke a little bit too late here. So tricky. Other cars trying to go up on the inside. Hold it together. Really tricky. This has been a tough race in terms of the twitchiness of the handling at this stage, and I was glad to sort of make it round the final corner and get to the end. That was a tough one, but I hope you've enjoyed this Xbox One coverage on Project Cars. There'll be lots more. It's quite limited this time, but there will be lots more coming from me. That's going to open up the game proper once we get a more developed build. But I hope you enjoy that first sort of look at it. Do click on these other videos that we've got, check those out, and there'll be more from me very soon.